Hi everyone. I wanted to do this video to shed some light on a particular subject. There's a couple videos circulating on social media based on a similar theme. They are of what appears to be panel discussions. One is titled, "A Second Opinion. What has gone wrong with the American response to COVID?" The other has something to do with a military whistleblower that is exposing an alleged flurry of deaths related to the COVID vaccine. Claims of massive cover-ups, gross negligence, etc. in the medical profession and government. A small group of experts from the medical and scientific profession were testifying. Both were hosted by Ron Johnson. Now, he's a Republican senator from Wisconsin, a longtime Trump supporter and conspiracy theory promoter. Everything from COVID misinformation to denying climate change to false information on the January 6th insurrection on the U.S. Capitol. He even made false claims that gargling with mouthwash would kill the coronavirus. There's lots of information available about him and his antics, so don't take my word for it. Have a look for yourself. The reality is this: the U.S. has 22 million healthcare professionals, and this is from the U.S. Census Bureau. Sure, you can find a small few who will challenge the system, but that does not necessarily mean their assertions are correct. Are they looking for political gain? Were they discredited for legitimate reasons and are now striking back? Those things happen. The point is that the vast majority of healthcare professionals are taking COVID seriously and are promoting the vax. Are they being bullied by politicians or some nefarious group or origins? No, that's just looking for a conspiracy theory under every rock. The same thing would have to be happening in hundreds of other countries around the world. Someone I know quoted statistics that say COVID is no worse than the flu. Well, if such statistics do exist, then one could say we've done the right things. We are taking all of these extreme measures to prevent COVID from being as bad as it could be. We don't do this for the flu. So this is not comparing apples to apples. Can you imagine what would have happened if we'd done nothing? So what about big pharmas having governments in their pockets? Actually, Russia was the first to roll out their vaccine. They called it Sputnik. Perhaps I'd be leery of that one. As of December 31st, 2021, there was 19 different companies manufacturing COVID vaccine in 17 different countries worldwide. For anyone to suggest that governments are in the pockets of big pharma, well, this would have to be happening globally. Again, not a reasonable scenario based on data. Are the vaccines safe? Over 10 billion doses have been administered worldwide. 10 billion. A very small amount of people have encountered side effects, and most of them have recovered. It's interesting that Trump was advocating for all of these alternative medications to treat COVID, such as ivermectin. Now we know he has taken the COVID shots, including a booster. It was funny when he announced at one of his rallies, his supporters actually booed him. Yes, the media and governments do get things wrong from time to time. But it seems that some people believe that everything they do is wrong. I have heard it said that the mainstream media is bought and paid for. Well, don't kid yourself. These alternative media sites are in it for the money as well. Joe Rogan is a good example of this. If he actually believed this crap he was spouting, then why did he not stand up and defend his position? Instead, he apologized and removed a bunch of his podcasts. We also don't get all our information from the media. There are hundreds, perhaps thousands of scientific and medical organizations from around the world. that produce peer-reviewed publications. Look some of them up for yourself. As far as the so-called trucker heroes, these are direct quotes from the Canadian Truckers Alliance. These aren't my words. This was taken directly from their website. And I quote, "The Canadian Trucking Alliance, CTA, does not support and strongly disapproves of any protests on public roadways, highways, and bridges. CTA believes such actions, especially those that interfere with public safety, are not how disagreements with government policies should be expressed. Members of the trucking industry who want to publicly express displeasure over government policies can choose to hold an organized, lawful event on Parliament Hill or contact their local MP. What is not acceptable is disrupting the motoring public on highways and commerce. The vast majority of Canadian trucking industry is vaccinated, with the overall industry vaccination rate among truck drivers closely mirroring that of the general public. Accordingly, most of our nation's hard-working truck drivers are continuing to move cross-border and domestic freight to ensure our economy continues to function. While a number of Canadians are in Ottawa to voice their displeasure over this mandate, it also appears a great number of these protesters have no connection with the trucking industry and have a separate agenda beyond a disagreement over cross-border vaccine requirements. As these protests unfold over the weekend, and obviously this was done quite a few days ago, we ask the Canadian public to be aware that many of the people you see and hear in media reports do not have a connection with the trucking industry. To those in the trucking industry that have chosen to participate in this protest regarding cross-border mandates, we ask that you engage in a peaceful demonstration today and then leave Ottawa to avoid any issues to the welfare and safety of citizens of Ottawa. Your behavior today will not only reflect upon you and your family, but the 300,000 plus fellow Canadians that, like you, take great pride in our industry. Also, everyone is forgetting that this is a cross-border issue. Don't think that protesting in Ottawa will convince the U.S. government to relax its border restrictions. There's a conspiracy theory for just about everything these days. I know a teacher who actually believes that the earth is flat and will adamantly defend his position, backed up with info from the internet. We need to stop and think about what we take in from the web and fact check from a variety of reliable sources, especially before you post it on social media. Yes, we're all sick and tired of COVID. We all want to get back to a normal life, but minimizing the situation's not helping anybody. We will get through this. Let's not upset the apple cart now. Thank you.